This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. Just when you think you've seen it all, right? I mean, it just gets more and more insane. Wait till you see the trailer for this new TV show. Of course, a cartoon. So, again, as I always say, targeting children, even though they'll say, well, the cartoons are for young adults. And that just shows you what's going on in today's society, that we have 30 and 40-year-olds watching cartoons on a regular basis. But kidulting, if you didn't see the video I did on it, maybe check it out. This is a very, very sick, twisted world that we're living in. And this new show called Praise Petey is just proof of that. I'm going to show you the trailer. You're going to see the common themes here of human sacrifice and this utopian society, of course, because these are all the ideologies that tie into the Democratic Liberal Party, which is now the Satanic Party. You know, a party that really, their main concern is if people could kill babies or not out in, publicly. And get, and it be allowed. And of course, their main thing is to constantly target children as well in other ways, right? To brainwash them at the age of 5, to let them chop off private parts, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to show you the trailer right now. Before I do so, please do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed to my backup channel, please do so now. There's not a lot of people over there. I'm trying to get these built out. There's no catch to it. The link below isn't somebody else's channel. It's my channel. The reason I do this is that when I get strikes, for those of you that don't know, YouTube has a thing in place where you can't upload for X amount of days, you can't post, you can't do anything, you're frozen. And I like to continually have these channels set up and ready. So if you like my content, you should just subscribe. It's not gonna be burdensome to you. There's no catch to it. It's not somebody else's channel that I'm trying to get you to subscribe to a friend. It's me, it's my content. So I assume if you're here and you're subscribed, you like my content. So please do me that favor now and subscribe. I have to get to 4,000 watch hours. I'm not even remotely close, so please do so if you haven't yet. So now let me get into this trailer. You're going to notice a lot of stuff: monarch butterflies, all-seeing eyes, goats, utopia, and of course, human sacrifice. Take a look at this absolute horror that is going to be promoted, of course, and pushed onto our public society and brainwash our children.
It's morning again. The sun is shining. The goats are screaming. And I'm still here, despite the fact that last night I witnessed someone get ritualistically murdered by my dad's cult that I just inherited.
Oh, here we go.
What the? I'm Petey. I had it all. Mother!
Here.
What's this?
It's a message from your father.
It's me, your father. The community of New Utopia is all yours.
I just needed to figure out my place in my dead dad's weird town.
I'm walking here.
The great daughter! She's arrived!
Welcome to New Utopia. I'm new to this being the cult leader thing. Thank you. But I was excited to get to work. Do you need this hammer?
Yeah, just put it between my pecs.
Ooh. Is this town doing okay?
Nah, we're starving.
You being here means the prophecy of the great daughter's return is fulfilled.
I'll make New Utopia normal. No more human sacrifice.
Tell me what to do!
I have a vision for New Utopia, and it is bright.
Everyone is happy to have someone to mindlessly follow.
I love the leader, and the comet is coming.
Ha! You blinked. We need you here so the comet will return.
Oh, God. It's a space cult? Oh, of course. Boomers love space.
So again, a lot of people look at these things, and I'll get into all the stuff that we saw in the trailer, and they're like, cartoons aren't for children. Well, let me just make one thing perfectly clear. One of the ways that Satanists lure children into the occult and start, getting them into practicing, perverted acts with them, I'm trying to figure out how to word it around the algorithm, is they actually show them like dirty films with cartoon characters. People don't really think about that. They're like, how do you get a kid? And they all of a sudden they like literally have these types of films with like Mickey Mouse and all that stuff. And you could read documentation of Satanists who have talked about it before, how they were groomed and brought into it. It's, you know, if you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, wait, so they told the kid, hey, let's watch Mickey Mouse. And it's really not Mickey Mouse. Well, the Mickey Mouse that we see, even though it's definitely the real Mickey Mouse. Not the type of Disney thing you normally see, but they'll use Disney characters, etc., or characters that look like them. And they'll start doing things in the videos. And that's a way that they, you know, mind control kids into that stuff. Now, I'm not saying that this is something along those lines, but this might be marketed as something for 20 and 30-year-olds, but kids tend to gravitate towards cartoons, right? That's why you don't see like a 4-year-old watching The Godfather. A 5-year-old's not going to come downstairs and be like, can I watch Apocalypse Now today? You know, the kid's not just going to be gravitated toward, hey, let's put on the History Channel. I want to hear about Teddy Roosevelt and his Masonic roots. No. Kids, obviously, all these shows, and that's why they target these shows like Blue's Clues, which I've covered over the years, and they put all these themes in there, the pride, et cetera, et cetera. Kids gravitate towards this. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're an adult and you watch cartoons, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I mean, these shows aren't really for adults. They pretend that they are. So then the adult's like, oh, yeah, I'm 30 and I watch cartoons. What are you making fun of me for? I grew up on The Simpsons, I still watch it. I grew up on Family Guy, I still... Look, well, you watch what you want to watch. But the simple fact of the matter is they make these shows as cartoons because, one, it's not as graphic for them to show the things that you saw in there, right? Like human sacrifice. And then they can, of course, say, well, it's comedy. You're taking it too seriously. It's a cartoon. They're showing human sacrifice. Well, if they literally showed the human sacrifice, which they do anyway in horror films, etc., it's easier for them to get away with this stuff and then say, oh, it's just a lighthearted thing. And they're really just programming and brainwashing people. So let's look at some of the signs and symbols in there. And again, keep in mind the common themes that we see in today's liberal party about a utopian society, which they think that they're trying to create. They use these subtle messages in here. Oh, look, the Satanists, they have great... Wait, think about all the themes I've covered. The Satanists are great people, they're trying to say in the media. The Satanists care about pro-life. The Satanists aren't who you really think they are. Then you have shows like this. What's the theme? Well, the Satanists are the good guys. The show's based on the good guy. Oh, it's a good, cult leader. And what's the cult leader? Oh, there was human sacrifice. So it's trying to change it in utopian society. So they're cracking jokes about the human sacrifice part. Of course, keep constantly mentioning it. And everyone's like, oh, we don't want to stop human sacrifice. And the goats' involvement. I mean, it's all right in front of our faces every day. They show us this stuff. But the thing about that messaging with utopia, love, caring, these are the deceptions that the Satanists are using. And they're perceived as victims and good people, and the rest of us are looked at as hateful and bigots. So you start off right there, you got a monarch butterfly, of course you do. And we got the sign with utopia on it. And then what do we got? We got goats. We got goats everywhere, because goats are just the thing, right? Nobody thinks about goats in connection with Satanism. I mean, this goes back forever, right? And we constantly see goats used, and people actually are at a point where they actually believe that, when celebrities are saying the goat, they're thinking and talking about the greatest of all time. So then they wear Baphomet on their shirt, they wear Baphomet on their necklace, and they're like, you're taking it way too seriously. Little Wayne or Little John or whatever his name is, they're wearing the Baphomet because they're the greatest, right? Ja Rule's wearing it because he's the greatest. And you're just like, wait a minute, but these guys couldn't be further from the greatest. They're horrible. Right? And they're like, well, they think they are, so they're wearing the goat. Oh, so every one of them thinks they're the greatest, so they all wear a goat. And we normalize that. Tom Brady, the goat beer. I've covered it over and over. Then we even get to a point where we have celebrities promoting goat yoga to us, and nobody's asking questions like, wait a minute, what is this, goat yoga? Yeah, goat yoga. Who came up with this notion? Somebody was just doing yoga and like, you know what would make this yoga better? And like, what, Charles? What would make it better? Putting a goat on our back. Huh? Nobody was like, what? Nobody was like, hey, why don't we put a cat on our back or a dog on our back then first before we get to a goat? They're pretty heavy. No, it's just normalized as a goat. And it's right in front of our faces. And who's promoting it? Celebrities are. Nobody sees the correlation with the acceptance of the goat. These are all satanic undertones. Doesn't mean if you do yoga and you put a goat on your back that you're a Satanist, but it certainly means you're an idiot. But this is how they normalize this stuff, and they've continued to do it. So the goats, of course, they make light of it. Oh, the goats, right? So we have the monarch. Obviously, in the logo, you have the pyramid and the all-seeing eye, which you saw before. Then you get to the human sacrifice. They're like, oh, we're committing human sacrifice. No big deal, right? No big deal. Some guy's getting put into a coffin. He's yucking it up. All these people are standing around, putting him into the coffin. Of course, if you look at a lot of the Masonic rituals, one of the things that they do is put you in a casket and close it. This is the fun that they're having at your local Masonic lodge, putting you inside of a casket. Yeah. Nobody's creeped out, by the way, and your tighty whitey's getting locked in. But in addition to that, a lot of children who are abused in covens, in Satanism, tell horror stories about being locked inside of coffins with snakes and all sorts of bugs and insects in there in the pitch black, of course, because coffins are obviously enclosed and it's pitch black. This is one of the traumatic events they put them through because, again, these rituals are trauma-based mind control. This is how they create mind control slaves and servants for them. And then, of course, this is a vicious cycle. And at this point, the majority of people who have power and are famous are all people who probably were victims at one point, but don't feel too much sympathy for them because they're doing the same acts. And they believe that this is normalcy and normal, and they just continue to act it out, and it just spreads like an STD around our society. So they're sacrificing the guy, and then, of course, they're drinking his blood, because why wouldn't they, right? Because, I mean, I guess they're just fans of Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, or Megan Kelly, whatever her name is. Just drinking the blood here, no big deal, right? Might as well have a vampire facial while you're at it. And then they just go on and they show you, everybody's chanting about human sacrifice. Just keep saying stuff about human sacrifice, showing you, obviously, rainbow theme, because who do you think's really involved in this type of stuff, right? Rainbow. And I'm not talking about God's promise rainbow. Anyway, I won't say any more than that. You also see some other things in here where there's a goat, and you could see on the goat, of course, you have the pentagrams on the goat, just very much like the Baphomet with the pentagrams and the crescent moons, right? But don't think too deep into it because they're telling you about human sacrifice. So I guess the signs and symbols don't really mean much, but what are they doing here? Well, they're making light of things that actually happen. And the more they make light of these things and joke around about them and tell you that they don't really happen, the more people believe that they don't really happen and believe people like us are conspiracy theorists. So that's why it's important for them to constantly crack jokes about it. So then they come out and they're like, what, did that guy watch one too many episodes of Praise P? Even though, nobody's really watching it except a room full of dorks. But, that's how they do it. They're like, what, did he watch Rosemary's Baby? What, did he watch this movie about demonic possession? Oh, well, I saw one too many movies, right? But they always show you the truth in these shows, whether they make light of it with comedy or they tell you, or they do the extreme side in the horror movies. They're like, well, we're just trying to get a scare, huh? They show you the truth. And then people turn on the news looking for truth, and everything on the news is just fabricated. There's an agenda behind every story. It's all fake. So this is just a new show, out there. No big deal. If you think that there's anything to it, you're a conspiracy theorist. They just, we're supposed to believe that artists and writers and screenwriters and Hollywood, they're all creative people. That's what we're told, right? That's what we've been told since we were young. They're creative. If you're creative, they're like, oh, maybe you should be a writer. Maybe you should be a playwright, etc. So why is every single story the same theme? Why are we constantly seeing these themes of human sacrifice, blood drinking, right? Oh, a utopian society. Oh, boy, I don't know. Why are we always seeing goats? Nobody could come up with someone else instead of using goats. Oh, well, I guess because they're saying, hey, did you know, that goats and all that stuff are used in this fictitious mindset of Satanism, that goats and sacrifice? Oh, okay. So why are you constantly talking about it if it's not real? Why are you constantly showing it if it's not real? Because it is real. It's very, very real. And they're so weak and pathetic that they constantly have to do things like this to deflect, right? How many cartoons have I covered in the last couple of years? The Antichrist son, Satan's daughter, all these things have all been removed, of course, because I'm one of the only people covering those types of things, because a lot of people look at it and they're like, that's not really important. We need to talk about what's going on with, Biden's falling down. What's his cognitive is his brain functioning? They're falling into that stuff. Well, you need to show people this stuff, because this type of brainwashing is how we get a society that is the way it is today. Everything's a joke. They don't think any of this stuff is real because they've been told that it's not real. The stuff that they think is real isn't real. This perception of, oh, everyone's racist, everybody's this, everyone's in, these people have been handed this. You should go get that and take it from them because they don't deserve this. You're a victim. Oh, they're judging you because of your sexual preference. It's all fake. They're convincing you of this stuff. And then in reality, they're showing you all the truths in these cartoons. I mean, this is what they've done and continue to do. Why do you think they constantly talk about it? They can't come up with anything else. Why do you constantly bring attention to it? To deflect. That way, when they see stuff like me, they're like, look at this guy. He thinks that the PD show is based on true events and real stuff. Oh, okay. Well, why don't you look into the cases like McMartin? Why don't you look into all the cases that have happened that are documented cases, West Memphis 3, that have to do with blood contracts, blood sacrifice, drinking of blood, sacrificing to Satan. Oh, because those are all fake, right? Then they just come out and they're like, yeah, Those people were wrongly convicted because they were wearing Metallica shirts and had black lipstick on. Huh? Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is more garbage being promoted. Nothing new under the sun, no new scripts. Nobody's suspicious as to why these people who are artists don't create anything that's new or creative. Everything's woke, everything's got an agenda. Everything is a giant embarrassment. And these people continue to promote this stuff, and idiots out there continue to think that people like me and you are conspiracy theorists because their minds are so weak and feeble that they can't think for themselves and can't see the signs right in front of their faces. A reminder again, please subscribe to my second channel if you haven't yet. I really need everybody over there. I hope you're still listening. I hope you have done that for me. I'd appreciate it if you do. If you appreciate the content, do that for me now. I thank you again. God bless all of you and your families.